Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going back in time.
Ooh, time travel.
Yeah, sorta. Back to Vienna in the 1900s,
Okay.
when Sigmund Freud was really making waves with his theories on the unconscious mind.
Right.
So we're using a board game called Unconscious Mind to kind of explore psychoanalysis.
That's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, we thought so too.
So playing the game is like stepping into the shoes of Freud's contemporaries, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you get to experience the excitement of that whole era firsthand.
I can imagine.
We've got a bunch of articles and game reviews, and I'm really curious to see how it all comes together.
Me too.
So, can you give us a quick rundown of the game's premise?
Well, basically it drops you right into the heart of Vienna's intellectual scene.
Okay.
You're not just passively learning about psychoanalysis.
Right.
You're actually competing to become like Freud's most distinguished contemporary.
Ooh, that's interesting. So it's not just about treating patients.
No, it's way more than that.
What else do you have to do?
You got to build a whole career. Okay.
Publish research.
I see.
Make a name for yourself in this brand new field.
Makes sense. I mean, even Freud himself was super strategic about building his reputation.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so how does the game actually simulate all of that?
Well, one of the core mechanics is collecting these things called insights.
Insights.
Yeah, they're represented by these little pieces on a dial in the game.
Yeah.
And they're basically the currency you use for like every action.
Oh, so like you're gathering knowledge and then using it to fuel your work.
Exactly, you got it.
Cool. So are all insights created equal? Or are some more valuable than others?
Definitely not equal.
How so?
There are like different types of insights.
Like what?
You've got growth, freedom, and passion.
I see.
And each type comes in like different levels of intensity.
Ah, so you really got to think strategically about which ones to collect.
Absolutely. And sometimes you even have to like suppress certain insights.
Suppress them.
Yeah, to elevate others, you know.
Wow, so it's like a balancing act?
It is, very
Huh.
much so. So it's not just about like amassing as many insights as you can. It's about choosing the right ones for your goals.
Yeah, exactly. It's like managing your mental energy in real life.
I like that.
Like, where are you focusing your attention?
Right.
Where are you putting your effort?
Okay, that's a really interesting parallel.
And speaking of work,
Yeah,
one of the key aspects of the game is treating clients.
makes sense. That's like the bread and butter of psychoanalysis.
Exactly. So each client in the game, they come with their own latent dream.
Okay, and what does that mean?
It represents their underlying issue.
Okay,
But there's a catch.
there's always a catch.
There's this thing called a grief layer, obscuring their actual progress.
Free flare, that sounds kind of heavy.
Yeah, it's like you're peeling back the layers of an onion trying to get to the heart of the problem.
Ooh, that's a good analogy. I like that.
Right. So you use these manifest dreams, which are like tools to uncover the latent dream. But each manifest dream needs specific insights to work. So you really have to choose carefully.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Oh, not at all.
So it's really strategic.
Oh, for sure.
You have to think carefully about each client and tailor your approach.
Exactly. And as you make progress, you like chip away at the grief layer.
I see. So you gradually remove it through therapy.
Yes. And this whole grief layer thing, it's a pretty cool concept.
Yeah, it really highlights the idea that even patients themselves might not fully grasp their own problems at first.
Right, exactly. It's like this central idea in psychoanalysis
Yeah.
that we're all driven by these unconscious forces we don't even realize are there.
And the therapist's job is to help unearth those hidden forces.
Yes, bring them into the light.
So in a way, the game is simulating that process of self-discovery.
I think that's a great way to put it, both for the client and the therapist.
And what happens when you finally remove the grief layer?
That's when catharsis happens.
Catharsis.
It's that aha moment.
Oh, I get it. When the client finally understands what's been holding them back.
Yes, exactly. And the game represents this by revealing the client's ongoing effects.
Ongoing effects. What are those?
It could be anything, really. Like maybe they get unique abilities or new scoring opportunities.
So it shows how therapy can really have a lasting impact.
Precisely. I love how the game blends all these theoretical concepts with actual gameplay.
Me too. It's like you're learning by doing.
Exactly. And speaking of doing,
Yeah.
being a psychoanalyst isn't just about treating patients.
Right. There's more to it.
You also got to contribute to the field through research and publishing, right?
Okay, so how does the game handle that?
That's where treatises come in.
Treatises. Yeah.
You use these research cards to publish your findings.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Each treatise needs specific resources
Like what?
and one of your personal insights.
Oh, interesting. So you're not just regurgitating what others have already said.
No way. You're putting your own spin on it.
You're making a unique contribution.
Exactly. It's all about standing out.
And I'm guessing other players are doing the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely competition there.
I bet. Everyone's vying for recognition.
Right. And that brings us to another cool part of the game, the city map.
Okay, the city map, tell me more. I'm assuming we're not just stuck in an office.
Nope. You're moving all around Vienna.
Cool.
The city's divided into districts.
What kind of districts?
You've got the theater, the library, the university.
Sounds like a real intellectual hub.
It is. And each district has its own unique characteristics and advantages.
Okay, so you're strategically positioning yourself within the city to maximize your chances of success.
Exactly. You move your professor and Freud himself.
Wow, you get to move Freud around.
You do. You move him around the city, triggering all sorts of different effects.
Cool.
It's like you're really leveraging the city's intellectual and cultural resources to advance your career.
You know, I was reading about some of the different schools of thought within psychoanalysis back then.
Like Hume and Adler.
Yeah, exactly. Does the game differentiate between their approaches?
Oh, absolutely. It does a great job of capturing the nuances of those different perspectives.
Cool. So how does it work?
Well, each of Freud's contemporaries, like Jung, Adler, Hilferding, and Spielrein,
Yeah.
they're all playable characters with their own special abilities.
Wow. So you really get to embody a specific figure.
You do, and their starting resources reflect their historical counterparts.
That's awesome. So the choices you make will really differ depending on who you're playing as.
Oh, for sure. Like, Jung might be more drawn to the mystical, symbolic side of the unconscious, while Adler might focus on social dynamics and power struggles.
That's so cool. It's like a historical role-playing game within a board game.
I know, right? It's so clever. And they even incorporate real-life clients and case studies.
No way.
Yeah, from period records worldwide.
Wow. So you get a sense of how global psychoanalysis really was.
You do. You might encounter a client dealing with hysteria in Vienna,
Wow.
or someone grappling with anxiety in New York City.
It's like a time capsule.
It really is.
I'm blown away by how this game brings together history, concepts, and strategy.
Me too. It's like a masterclass in early 20th century psychoanalysis.
But disguised as a game night.
Exactly.
All right, so we've talked about insights, treating clients, research, navigating Vienna.
Yeah.
What else is there to juggle in this game?
Well, there's these things called notebook tiles.
Notebook tiles, what are those?
They represent your ongoing learning and refining of your psychoanalytic techniques.
Ah, I see.
Throughout the game, you spend coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah. Gotta fuel those late-night therapy sessions
Oh,
to
wait.
collect these tiles.
Okay, so what do they actually do?
Each tile gives you a special ability or a bonus.
What kind of bonus?
It could help you treat clients better,
Okay,
or do research more efficiently,
I see.
or even give you an edge in the race for reputation.
Ah, so you're constantly adding new tools to your toolbox.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sensing a theme here.
What's that?
The game really highlights how psychoanalysis is always evolving.
You're totally right. It's not some fixed set of rules.
It's dynamic.
Exactly. Especially back then in the early 20th century.
Right, right. It was a really exciting time for new ideas.
It was a time of immense intellectual ferment, and psychoanalysis was right at the center of it all.
Yeah. Challenging old ways of thinking, pushing boundaries.
Exactly.
So playing this game isn't just about learning the rules. It's about stepping into that historical moment
You got it.
and feeling the energy of those debates and discoveries.
And contributing to something groundbreaking.
It sounds like Unconscious Mind really thought of everything. It's not just teaching you about the history and concepts of psychoanalysis.
Right.
It's actually simulating the whole experience of being part of that movement.
I know. So well done.
And that's what makes it such a great learning tool.
For sure. You're not just passively absorbing information.
Yeah.
You're actively engaging with the material.
Right. Making decisions.
And those decisions have real consequences in the game.
So it's like you're internalizing the principles of psychoanalysis through gameplay.
You got it. Learning by doing.
The best way to learn.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered a lot, but I want to touch on one more thing.
Okay, what's that?
These additional modules and expansion,
Oh, yeah, the modules.
they sound really cool. What do they add to the game?
Well, they're basically like bonus features
Oh.
that add layers of complexity and replayability.
I'll see.
They introduce new challenges, new strategic options, even historical events that weren't in the base game.
Oh, wow. So you can really delve even deeper into the world of psychoanalysis.
You can. For instance, there's this fireworks module.
Fireworks.
It introduces this element of chance and inspiration,
Okay.
Like you can claim these district bonuses on the city map at a discount.
Ah, I see.
It represents those sudden bursts of insight.
Cool. Or like those lucky breaks that happen sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
So is that more about those aha moments in therapy or more about the unpredictable nature of a therapist's career?
I think it could be both.
Yeah, that makes sense.
On the one hand, it definitely reflects those sudden breakthroughs
Right.
when a patient makes a connection they never saw before.
Yeah.
But it also captures those unpredictable twists and turns.
Like meeting a mentor.
Exactly. Or stumbling upon a groundbreaking case.
It's like the game is acknowledging that even the most carefully planned careers
Yeah,
can be influenced by these random moments of serendipity.
absolutely. And then there's the journalist module.
Oh, tell me about that one.
This one brings in the media and public discourse.
Okay.
You can leverage the knowledge from all the treatises published.
So not just yours.
Nope, everyone's, to gain advantages and influence the direction of the field.
Oh, that's cool. So you're not just publishing for academia.
Nope.
You're trying to shape the public conversation around psychoanalysis.
Exactly. Using the power of the media.
That's a really interesting strategic layer.
It is.
Like a game of intellectual chess.
Totally. And then there's the location overlays module.
Okay, what do those do?
They add even more variability and strategic depth.
How so?
They change the bonuses available at each location on the city map.
Ah, I see.
So the intellectual landscape of Vienna is constantly shifting.
You always have to be adapting your strategy.
Exactly. It keeps things fresh and engaging.
So much thought went into this game. It's
Yeah.
really impressive.
I know, right?
They really nailed both the historical context and the theoretical nuances of psychoanalysis.
It really speaks to their passion for both the subject and the art of game design.
Well said.
Thanks.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in part one of our deep dive into unconscious mind.
We have.
We've looked at the main mechanics, the history, the different characters,
Yeah.
even those cool extra modules.
It's been a fascinating journey so far.
It really has.
We've seen how the game simulates what it was like to be a psychoanalyst in the early 20th century,
Yeah.
from treating patients and publishing research to navigating that whole intellectual scene in Vienna.
And we've also touched on some deeper themes,
Like what?
like the importance of self-discovery, the interplay of conscious and unconscious forces,
Absolutely.
and how knowledge is often created collaboratively.
Yeah, it's more than just a game.
It really is.
It makes you think.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right? There's so much more to uncover.
But before we jump into part two,
Yeah.
I just want to take a second to appreciate how beautiful this game looks.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
We've got some close-up shots here.
I love the artwork.
The components are so well made.
It's clear they put so much care into the details.
It's like a piece of history in your hands.
And that's what makes it so special.
It's more than just a game. It's like a work of art.
Right. It transports you right back to that era.
So for anyone listening who's even remotely interested in the history of psychology
Yes.
or the power of games,
Or just the idea of exploring the mind.
seriously, check out Unconscious Mind.
You won't regret it.
It's a journey worth taking.
And we'll be back in part 2 to delve even deeper into the gameplay.
Can't wait. See you soon.
See you then. Welcome back.
I'm still thinking about those beautiful game components.
know.
They really did a great job with the art and design.
It's like holding a piece of history in your hand.
Right. But we've got a lot more to uncover.
Okay, let's get back to it.
So in part one, we talked about acquiring clients, using insights to treat them, removing the grief layer,
Right.
to reveal the latent dream.
Exactly.
But I'm curious about the nitty-gritty of therapy.
The actual process.
Yeah, how does that play out in the game?
It's pretty elegant, actually.
Okay, tell me more.
So each client card has these spaces
Oh.
representing steps towards catharsis.
Right.
To move a client along those spaces,
Yeah.
you need therapy points.
Therapy points. Okay, how do you get those?
That's where the manifest dreams come in.
Right, those cards we talked about.
Exactly. Each one has a color and a symbol
Okay.
if it matches the client's latent dream. Yeah.
You spend insights of that color to generate therapy points.
So it's all about finding the right match.
Yes. Like using the right tool for the job.
And the more insights you spend, the more points you get.
Exactly. And that moves the client closer to catharsis.
So there's a lot of strategy involved in managing your insights.
Oh, for sure. And selecting the right manifest dreams.
I bet. And what about those grief layers? We talked about how they obscure progress.
Yeah, they can make things tricky.
How so?
Well, each grief layer has unique effects.
Oh,
It might hinder your therapy
okay.
or sometimes even give you unexpected benefits.
Oh, interesting. Can you give us an example?
Sure. Imagine a client whose grief layer makes them resistant to certain insights. So
Okay.
you'd have to adapt your approach, maybe focus on different manifest streams.
Interesting. Or even collaborate with other players.
Yeah, to get the insights you need.
It's like you're dealing with the unexpected twists and turns of real therapy.
That's exactly what it's like.
So cool.
And sometimes the grief layer works in your favor. Really? How?
It might give the client bonus therapy points when you use a specific manifest dream.
Ah, so what seemed like a challenge could actually become an advantage.
Exactly.
The game really highlights how every client is different,
Right.
and there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
No magic bullet.
And I wonder how much those grief layers reflect the social and cultural context of the time.
Oh, that's a great
We're
point.
talking about Vienna in the early 1900s,
Right.
a time of huge social change and upheaval.
All of that would shape the psychological landscape.
Exactly. Think about the changing roles of women,
Yeah.
the rise of industrialization,
Absolutely.
people questioning traditional values.
So much change.
So maybe the game isn't just about individual psychology.
Maybe it's also about the collective unconscious of an era.
That's a really interesting thought.
It makes you wonder what kind of grief layers we'd see in a game set in the present day.
Good question. What are the anxieties and neuroses that define our time?
Something to think about.
Okay, but for now, let's get back to the city map.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
You mentioned moving your professor and Freud around Vienna.
Right.
What's the strategic advantage of that?
Well, the city map is basically a network of opportunities.
Okay,
Each location represents something different about Vienna's intellectual and cultural life.
got it.
And when you move there,
Yeah.
you trigger different effects.
So it's about positioning yourself in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. Like you might go to the library for research cards.
To help with publishing treatises?
Right. Or send Freud to the university to attract prestigious clients.
I see. And those clients would offer more rewards.
They would. And contribute more to your reputation.
So it's a balancing act between focusing on your own progress
Yeah,
and keeping an eye on your opponents.
exactly.
Do players ever interact directly on the city map?
They can.
How so?
There's no direct combat,
Okay.
but there's definitely strategic maneuvering.
Like what?
If two players want to visit the same location, they might have to time their moves carefully,
Oh, I see.
or even negotiate to avoid missing out.
So there's a social element to the game as well.
Absolutely. You can't just ignore the other players.
Makes sense?
And just like in chess, every move has consequences.
Right. There's always a trade-off.
You might gain a short-term advantage,
Yeah.
but leave yourself vulnerable somewhere else.
Like maybe you forgot to go to the coffee house
Exactly.
and now you're low on coffee.
And you need those notebook tiles.
Gotta stay caffeinated.
Right.
Are there any surprises on the city map?
That's where the location tags come in.
Those sound familiar.
Each district has a set of tags
Okay.
representing different themes in psychoanalysis.
Like dreams, childhood, sexuality.
Exactly. As you move around, you collect them.
And what do you do with them?
Well, sometimes special events happen.
Like what?
Public lectures,
Mhm.
focusing on a specific theme.
Okay.
If you have enough matching location tags,
Yeah.
you get bonus points, resources, or special abilities.
It's like you're really attending those lectures.
Immersing yourself in the intellectual debates of the time.
I love that. So it adds another layer of strategy.
It does. You have to decide what to prioritize.
Clients, research, location tags.
Exactly.
Wow, it sounds like you really have to plan ahead.
You do. Thinking several moves ahead is key.
Just like in real life.
Right. Exactly. Success often depends on anticipating the future,
Adapting to change.
making tough decisions.
Well said. Speaking of success, how is it measured in the game?
We talked about reputation earlier.
Right, that's your score.
It is. You earn it by publishing treatises,
Right.
curing clients, completing objectives on the board.
It's like a report card for your career as a psychoanalyst.
It is. And as your reputation grows, you unlock new things.
Like what?
New actions, bonus scoring opportunities.
So the more successful you are, the more influential you become.
Exactly. You might attract more prestigious clients,
Okay.
get invited to conferences,
Wow.
or even have your work published in journals.
It's like you're building your legacy.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so rewarding.
It's not just about winning,
It's about making a real contribution.
leaving your mark on the field.
Exactly.
It sounds like unconscious mind has captured the essence of the early psychoanalytic movement.
It really has, from the individual struggles to the
Yeah.
broader intellectual and social currents.
It's a remarkable achievement in game design.
Right, I completely agree.
Okay, we've covered a lot in part 2.
We have.
Therapy, the city map, reputation.
All the key stuff.
What's left for part 3?
Ah, that's a secret.
Okay, you've got me hooked.
I can't spoil the surprise.
Fair enough. But I'm looking forward to finding out.
Me too.
But for now, we'll leave our listeners in suspense.
Until next time.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're finally at part 3 of our exploration of unconscious mind.
The final layer, so to speak.
We've journeyed through the minds of clients,
Yeah.
navigated the streets of Vienna.
We've even sipped on some virtual coffee.
Now it's time to face the ultimate challenge, the end game.
It all comes down to this.
Okay, so let's talk about how it all ends in unconscious mind.
What are we working towards?
Yeah, and how is the winner decided?
Well, we talked about reputation, right?
Yeah, as a measure of your success.
Exactly. At the end of the game, the player with the highest reputation, they're declared Freud's most distinguished contemporary.
It's a race to the top of the psychoanalytic world.
In a way, yes.
But it's not just about points, right?
No, there's a final scoring phase.
What happens during that?
It takes into account all sorts of things you achieved throughout the game.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, you get bonus points for publishing treatises on a variety of subjects.
Ah, so you have to show a breadth of knowledge.
Exactly. You can't just specialize in one tiny area.
You have to be well-rounded.
A true Renaissance mind.
Like a true psychoanalyst.
That's right.
You know, it's like in therapy, sometimes you have to work through resistance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Before you can get to the core issue.
Yeah. Lots of digging.
And the game sort of simulates that with the scoring, right?
I like that analogy. It recognizes that every step of the journey is important.
The insights you gain, the clients you treat.
All of it contributes to your overall understanding.
So even if you don't win, you've still learned a lot.
Exactly. You've walked in the shoes of a psychoanalyst.
Grappled with those complex theories.
Treated those challenging clients.
And explored a fascinating historical era.
You've earned that honorary degree.
So, besides the scoring, is there anything else that happens at the end?
Any last-minute twists?
You can tell me, I can keep a secret.
I'm not sure.
Come on, give me a hint.
I don't want to spoil the surprise for our listeners.
Okay, fair enough. I guess they'll have to play the game to find out.
Exactly. Let's just say the end game brings everything together.
In a satisfying way.
In a thought-provoking way.
Ooh, now I'm even more curious. So as we wrap up this deep dive into unconscious mind,
It's been quite a journey.
what are your final thoughts? What makes this game so special?
What sets it apart?
Yeah. Why should our listeners give it a try?
For me, it's the way it transports you to another time and place.
It's more than just a game.
You're not just rolling dice and moving pieces.
You're really immersing yourself in that world.
The challenges, the triumphs of early psychoanalysis.
Like a time machine in a box.
It really is. And it manages to do all that while still being fun to play.
Yeah, the mechanics are clever.
The artwork is gorgeous.
The history is fascinating.
It's got something for everyone.
History buffs, psychology enthusiasts, board game fans.
Even if you just want to learn more about the mind.
This game is for you.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking for a unique and engaging experience
One that will make you think.
and transport you to a different era,
Check out Unconscious Mind.
yeah, you won't regret it.
It's an unforgettable journey.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed exploring unconscious mind with us.
We'll see you next time for another exciting adventure into the world of knowledge and ideas.
Until then, keep exploring. And remember, that next Freudian slip you make.
It might just be a hidden truth trying to break free.
See you next time.